And now we continue our mystical adventure 300 million years in the past, where we encounter giant enemy crabs. Oh noes! We must be in ancient Japan. Hurry, Garfield! Attack weak points for critical damage! What the? Alright, time out for a minute! If you'll observe carefully, we see that Garfield is standing underwater without any problems. Yet, if we recall from the level before this, we couldn't even get his ankles wet without taking damage. Why is it now that he can be completely submerged and not lose any life? Can we ask for a little consistency, please? What? I can attack enemies behind me with the melee weapon? Wow, this is some great hit detection, huh? Well, continuing on, we start coming across... What the fuck? Is that a fondue fall with broccoli in it? You have got to be kidding me. I know this is a kid's game, but come on! Couldn't we have put something else in its place? Say maybe a waterfall with logs instead? I know it's cliche, but at least it makes logical sense. And to make matters worse, we actually have to platform on the broccoli sprouts. And if we recall from the last level again, the platforming mechanics in this game suck. So don't expect to succeed in getting past this part in one go. And it doesn't help matters that we have whatever the fuck that is enemy shooting lightning at us. So we finally make it past the fondue fall and oh my god. As if this game couldn't get any more fucked up, now we have to fight Captain Caveman. Oh come on, I should have grabbed onto that. Seriously, look at this. I should have grabbed it. What the hell's your problem, game? You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go straight to the boss. And now we must face the most terrifying creature ever to walk the planet. The dreaded Odosaurus Rex. Actually, this boss fight isn't half bad. As he jumps, a bunch of rocks will come down. Once the round boulders come down, just roll it over to the teeter-totter and launch it right at the Dogosaurus. Finally, a bullshitless moment. The developers actually did something right for where the hell did the Odosaurus go? You mean to tell me that there's a glitch in this game that actually removes the boss from the boss fight and strands me on the screen without any way out? Playing through the game again, we reached the boss for the second time. Only now I'm going to be using a save state with the emulator. Thank heaven for the emulator. Now I'm pissed to all hell and I'm going to kick this boss's ass. And the game glitches again! You slimy motherf... After reloading my save state, we continue where we left off. Take that, game. I outsmarted you. And after a tough boss fight, we finally beat the boss. Finally! Only took 2 more times than I needed. Now on to the next level. Casablanca. Oh no, not this level. This is what I like to call the get lost over and over without any fucking idea where you're supposed to be going level. Why do I call it that? Well, throughout the entire level, you'll be going into one random store after another, trying to find out where it leads. Only after going through the right doorways will you finally be able to proceed to the boss. And sometimes when you exit a door and re-enter it, it will take you to a different spot than you originally were. That's bullshit! This level is nothing more than a glorified maze with a bunch of random fucking things that can kick your ass if you're not careful. Especially these trash cans, which are sometimes placed in front of your path to block you off from where you have to go. True, you can knock them down and sometimes even get items out of them, but whenever you knock one down, a cat comes out of it and you wind up getting into a cat fight. Not that kind of cat fight. And don't even bother trying to knock the trash can over with your projectiles. It doesn't work. Now I can deal with challenges, but when you put something in a game that makes it impossible to go further on without getting hit, that's just fucked up. And I'd also like to know how this level is parodying Casablanca in the slightest. Do you remember the part in Casablanca where you have to go into the sewers, walk across Manhattan, and avoid getting hit by antique watches being thrown by senile old men? I sure don't. Well, we finally made it to the boss. This time we have to deal with someone chucking bombs at us. Fortunately, he'll sometimes throw a non-lit bomb, which we can take and throw right back at him. Yes, we're resorting to bombs again. Only this time, the bombs actually explode when they hit their target. Wait a minute. If the bombs in this level explode, then why couldn't they explode in the pirate level? This game's about as consistent as Scott Peterson's testimony. This is actually the least bullshit fight in the game, as well as the easiest once you figure out how to tell which bombs to avoid and which ones are safe to go after. It really shouldn't take you more than 2 tries at the very most to beat him. After that, you go inside of Pharaoh's grave as Cleopatra. This level is perhaps the most complex, as you'll have to figure out a bunch of puzzles to progress. Mind you, that's standard in video games, but when you have to find hidden passageways that look like solid walls to progress further, that's when you begin pissing me off. This game is meant for kids, right? What makes you think kids have the patience and critical mind needed to figure some of this shit out? This took some critical thinking to get through sometimes, as the puzzles are not obviously found. So sometimes you'll find yourself reaching multiple dead ends before realizing that you have to light several torches to proceed, which are not easy to spot sometimes, as a few of them almost blend into the shadows. And I want to know whose brilliant idea it was to stand on falling sand. This makes about as much sense as the Fondue Falls in the ancient Japan level. We finally reached the boss of this level, who, believe it or not, is actually challenging in a good way. This is by far the best boss fight in the game, and I really have no complaints about this one. This is the one moment in the game that actually made me feel like I was playing something worth my time. Still, 5 minutes of actual fun doesn't make up for nearly an hour's worth of crap. Still, enjoy this fight. If you don't, then there is no point in this game that will make you happy. After beating that boss, you finally reached the season finale. And now, at long last, you get to challenge that bastard Y2K bug that was responsible for this mediocre programming you were forced to fight your way through. If we don't stop him, we'll be forced to watching television consisting entirely of Zoe 101, Camp Lazlo, Drawn Together, and every movie Yui Boll has directed. He must be stopped! But there's one problem. I don't have any melee or projectile weapons. So how do I fight the Y2K bug? You go to each side of the level and adjust the angle of the mirrors you find, making his attacks come right back at him. Can we say broken in all aspects? And to put the icing on the shit cake, you have to platform to beat this boss. Fun, huh? After a long and hard boss fight, we finally delete the Y2K bug and save television. Then we get a generic and bad scene at the end that makes us realize that we just wasted our time with this piece of shit game. And for all you hardcore Garfield fans that are going to flame me for this review, I dare you to try this game and then honestly tell me that you actually liked it. I'm sorry, but with all the consistent bullshit, lousy controls, and awful gameplay, this game is a spawn of the lowest pits of hell that shows you just how bad some games can become. I read some reviews of this game, thinking that this game would be well worth my time and effort, but after playing this, I felt like tracking down those that gave this game high to fair reviews and strangle them to death with a piano wire. This game is a mountain of problems and bullshit that just barely deserves the right to be called a game. Although not what I call one of the worst games I've ever played, it still has no right to be this bad. This game held everything fun and exciting that I felt about the Garfield franchise and threw up all over it. If you want to find fun with Garfield, then stick with the comics and TV show. I'd rather drink the toilet water from the exploding diarrhea ward of a hospital than play this game ever again. And if you're still not convinced this game is bad, then by all means play it. Just don't expect me to be visiting you at the asylum after you lose your mind. Well, that's all I have to say. Good fucking night.